My name's David Jakobs. I'm the CEO of Oasis Horticulture. We operate across 2 sites covering some 66 hectares, one site in Victoria in Cranbourne and this site at Yellow Rock in the lower Blue Mountains. This site was impacted by a fairly significant fire in 2013 and the business sustained significant losses. Fortunately, we had no injuries to our staff. We weren't able to manufacture at this site, but we did have the opportunity to ramp up our supply from our Victorian site to ensure that we could continue to supply our customers in the short term. Since that time, we've put a lot of emphasis on developing more procedures to ensure that we reduce the time from a critical event to continuing to supply our customers. So we've actually taken on board a WHS manager. That person not only works in the health, safety and environmental areas, but certainly with management to ensure they're adequately trained in these events and making sure that most of our activity actually occurs in planning prior to an event. We've spent a fair bit of time working with our insurance broker. Our insurance broker has really guided us through some of the things that we need to do to demonstrate to our insurers that we've got appropriate actions in place to mitigate risk. So we've done a fair bit of work around clearing the perimeters of our site and making sure that the vegetation that is around the perimeter of our site is appropriately maintained. We've also worked with Council as well as RFS to instate our canteen as what is called an NSP, which is a neighbourhood safe place. That neighbourhood safe place is a place of last resort, but does also give us wider opportunities for site clearance, particularly in front of that NSP location. We've also put together various risk audits that we conduct prior, in this case at this site, to a fire season. So we do those audits in our September-October period. And we do a review and make sure that any remedial maintenance is done around the site. Any clearance is also done around the site. We move or remove any flammable materials from critical assets. And we basically do training with our staff around fire drills as well prior to the season commencing. So we've been working with NGIQ on the disaster and risk mitigation project, and obviously as a business that has had material impacts around fire, certainly provided some insights as to what we've done as an organisation based on the fire event we had in 2013.
NGIQ is working on a project to determine the potential risk for natural disasters to impact the nursery industry nationally. And part of that is to develop a risk map, but also to look at developing tools, practical skills and a recovery plan for individual nurseries to be able to adopt as part of a business continuity strategy. As part of this project, we're creating a risk map for the nursery industry, and that is giving us a macro view and also a micro view of nursery businesses. So the benefit of that is to enable a risk assessment to be done for each nursery site, and we've actually got that process built into the mapping. So the next phase of this project is to deliver a recovery plan for up to 16 nurseries nationally, and we're identifying them through eco-hort businesses and also those that are high risk for bushfire, flood, cyclone, hail. So what we'd like to do is really talk to anyone who has experienced an event, who thinks they need a risk plan, or they just want to know more about building up their business for a business continuity management plan.